We're so looking forward to seeing you back in the nation's capital. You were here last summer, but this time you're going to be at the Spencerville Fair, rocking it on stage. So what's it like to be on stage performing music as opposed to doing the movie thing?
Well, when you make a movie, sometimes you don't know exactly what you're doing. Now, for instance, you're making a comedy, but no one's allowed to laugh on the set. So you're kind of like you're trying to be funny, and everybody's back there because they know they're not supposed to laugh. They don't want to wreck the take. So there's an odd thing when you're making a movie. It's an odd environment, and when you're making music, there's nothing odd about it at all. The drums start, the people move forward. It's like everybody knows what to do once the music starts.
So are you more of an actor or more of a musician in your heart?
Well, I think I'm a storyteller, and I think the songs that we do reflect that. I think the songs are very much like movies. If you kind of invest yourself in the lyrics that we do. So for me, they can be a 3-hour movie or a 3-hour song, or a 3-minute song. Sorry about that.
Well, it seems like lately, though, you are delving more and more into the music and less into the directing and the acting. Do you see that eventually you just getting away from the whole movie thing and just focusing on the music?
No, I think I'm going back into the directing and acting. I've got 3 little babies. I got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and I've really kind of didn't do a lot of movies these last 2.5 years, 3 years, and I'm going to start, directing and doing all that stuff again. So I've kind of, lived my life the way I want to. For me, it's recess. Remember that when the bell went off at school? Man, that was me, man. I'm flying out the door. And so for me, the bell goes off every morning. And it's like, well, what do I want to do? Where's the monkey bars? So, I've been able to have this kind of unusual life, and I appreciate it. And I feel lucky to have had it.
Well, I mean, I have to say, for me personally, I have to say you're one of my idols when it comes to the big screen. I've loved you in almost anything you've ever done, and I'm not just blowing smoke. Like, you really have made an impact on my movie-watching life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks. I mean, I think movies are one of those interesting things that we all have in common. I mean, it's kind of the one place that the world agrees when you're little that, your parents finally let you go there by yourself because the movie theater is quote unquote safe, right? And so you go to the movies, and it's kind of where you learn how to, I guess that's how you kiss, or you go, oh, that's how you do it.
I guess it depends on what kind of movies you're talking about there, Mr. Costner.
That's what it means to be a hero. That's what it means to have character. That's what it means to stand up for someone. And you come out of the dark and you go, I hope I'm that person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look back on your vast movie resume, and you'll continue to build on that in the years to come, and I hate doing this to guys like you, but if you had to pick, let's say, 3 movies to you that were defining your career, the moments, what would those 3 be, do you think?
Oh, what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna duck this, and not on purpose. So I'm gonna try to make a point for you. If I look back on my movies, the one thing that I'm really happy is I bump into people. The movie that they say is their favorite, I can run into people, and it can be 10 different movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate to think that it was one movie everybody was going to. So for me to be able to be in love with the game was great. For me to be able to do dances, for me to be able to do open range and direct that, for me to, do 10 Cup and JFK and Robin Hood and Bodyguard. And I love making Fandango. So I have really, and people will come up and, and live probably, they'll say Field of Dreams, and I did make that,
What do you mean? That was probably the Kevin Costner movie, though, don't you think?
Yeah, well, and look, I almost left it off the list because it's been a good ride, and I have tried to make the individual movie. I haven't tried to turn around and repeat the success of one. I love making Mr. Brooks, because it's like there's this chance, we go and we sit in the dark, and something can happen when the curtain opens, and we don't know what. And so that idea, I actually miss that in theaters when the curtain doesn't open anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to go back in time just for a quick second, Mr. Costner. I got an actual letter from you, talking about old school. I got it from you back, must be about 20 years ago. I wanted to interview you for Waterworld, and your company TIG, right? It was TIG.
Yeah.
You actually wrote a letter to me saying, I am unfortunately unable to do any interviews, but thanks for supporting the movie. And I still to this day have that letter that you hand wrote me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Well, you know what? People love that movie all over the world. I mean, if we left that off the list, and I go around the world, and there's this kind of perception that movie didn't do well, and it's just simply not true.
Right.
And all over the world, people want to be the mariner on a boat that looks like a Rube Goldberg, swinging from those masts. I mean, that's what the movies are. Is who doesn't want to save the girl, right?
But aside from the movies, though, don't you think Kevin Costner's success is because you're a normal guy, whereas most of these Hollywood actors, it's all about the paparazzi and who they're dating and all that stuff. You're just like a guy that people just want to hang out with, and I think that's your success, no?
Well, I think that it still has to matter to you what people think. Not that you have to be guide your life like that, because certainly then you're not your own man. But the reality is that listen, you want to win my heart. Be nice to my kid. When you see your kid walking around and they kind of go up to a person and they go, don't you love it when when your kid's playing in the playground and another kid is nice to your kid?
Mm-hmm.
But don't you just want to put them in a little mud puddle if they're mean to your child? And so I don't know. For me, it still matters what people think, and it's so you're going to go to a place, you're going to be a guest, act like one.
Yeah.
Well, you, sir, are a true gentleman in my books, and we look forward to seeing you here at the Spencerville Fair, September 10th. You're going to be rocking out. How long is your set? Like a good hour and a half, 2 hours kind of thing?
Yeah. Are you guys planning on coming?
You got
Absolutely.
it.
In fact, you're on my bucket list. I need a photo with you for my repertoire to
You
show
guys
people.
Guys come before the show or after the show, and we're going to rock that place. We'll play an hour and a half of original music, and I think you'll have a good time with it.
Oh, I love it.
Excellent. And
I'll play as long as they let me. I mean, I play loud and I play long.
That's amazing.
Well, I got a lot of emails. People knew I was going to be talking to you today. We were going to have a chance to chat with you. A lot of people are emailing already the whole idea that you're in the new Superman movie. Can you touch on that quickly?
Well, Zack Snyder, who did 300, is making Superman and asked me to play Superman's father. And I guess there was a day when I would have played Superman. But I guess that's so I don't know what the hell happened there. So yeah, I play his father, his Earth father. That when he comes to planet Earth, and so yeah, I'm in this thing. Diane Lane plays my wife, and so we raise Clark Kent.
Have you started filming yet?
Yeah, I've kind of already done my thing. I owe them, I think, one more scene, so I'll probably do that in January. I'm on my way to. Right after I leave Canada, I go to Europe and play for a month in Europe, and then I start a movie there, the Hatfield and McCoys, so I'll be playing the original hillbilly.
Right.
Wow.
Very good. And the other question, aside from Superman, was: would you rather, for the rest of your career, play a guy who loves baseball or a guy who, I guess, just is a country guy with all your, country and western films, that sort of thing? The country guy or the baseballer?
Well, I tell you what, there's, being able to saddle up and go get the bad guy is pretty great. Being able to win the game is pretty great. I mean, listen, I have been able to live the, men's fantasy on screen.
But you can only choose one, Mr. Costner.
Okay, Jiminy Christmas, you're so tough. You just want to narrow my life, don't you?
I'm trying.
That's what he does.
Listen, I got to tell you, I think getting on the horse with only the possessions that you can have on your back, there's something romantic and resourceful about that. And so for me, if you want to head out into the sunset, I guess that's me.
All right, there you go, Jenny. Does that make you swoon?
Oh, you have no idea.
All you need is a blanket for two and an ability to make a fire, and you can have a moment.
Yes, I will see you there.